Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor, it took the Japanese only 3 months to reach Australian soil on the northern coast of Papua New Guinea. It wasn't where militia battalions expected to be fighting, that the vast bulk of Australia's regular army was either in North Africa or in captivity at Singapore. When the first critical battles were fought between the Australian and the Japanese armies, it was the citizens' militia battalions who had to face them first. This occurred with the 39th Battalion on the Kokoda Trail and with the 61st Battalion at Milne Bay on the eastern tip of Papua New Guinea. Kokoda will always be remembered and celebrated as it should be. In reality, there were too many extraordinary feats by Australian troops for the nation to remember and commemorate them all. But although Kokoda lives on, the victory at Milne Bay was far more important at the time. Until the Japanese landed at Milne Bay, they hadn't been stopped anywhere by anyone. The Allies were starting to believe that no one could stop them. And then the world's most successful army was suddenly stopped at Milne Bay by the RAAF and the 7th Brigade, which is made up of 3 militia battalions, including the 61st. There was an airfield at Milne Bay which had to be kept out of Japanese hands because it was too close to Port Moresby for comfort. Members of the 61st Battalion were the first to discover the Japanese landing when a boatload of 30 of them motored straight into the middle of it. 15 of them survived the encounter. A bit like a German going fishing in the Channel on D-Day. The rest of the battalion were in the area, and with RAAF help, they managed to make a mess of the landing and then take part in the battle for the airfield. The outcome was convincing, and the Japanese survivors evacuated Milne Bay amidst more carnage delivered by the RAAF. People were very scared in 1942, and the victory at Milne Bay was a powerful boost to everyone at the time. In reality, Milne Bay was the furthest south that the war reached. After Milne Bay, most of the movement was north again. The band marched in front of the battalion on Anzac Day. This is the airstrip. Sorry, I lost my place. The band marched in front of the battalion on Anzac Day for about 60 years. We lost that contact for a while when the National Service Pipe Band adopted the dress and the badge of the 61st Battalion and took over the role. Then in 2013, I took leave from the band on Anzac Day and went looking for them. I found them, but there were just 2 veterans in the parade. Jim Webb on the left, Jim Mackenzie on the right. The band had asked what the battalion's march had been, and Jim Mackenzie told me that it was the March of the Cameron Men, and then he sang it for me. The band attended the next annual luncheon of the 61st Battalion later that year. We played their march for them, and they presented us with their cap badge and gave us permission to wear it in memory of them. We had a pipe banner made up, and it was presented at the Anzac Day March in 2014. Jim Mackenzie was the only veteran of the 61st Battalion in the march that day. This year, Jim wasn't there. There were no veterans of the 61st Battalion in the march, just their banner. I'm told that they lose their position in the march next year if they have no veterans. They'll get shifted to the back with the other banners of battalions that are no more. Jim Mackenzie died just 2 months ago. I know it's challenging for today's youth to grasp what these guys had to do, and it's very unlikely that they will ever be called on to do the same. Regardless of that, there will always be moments in their lives when challenges have to be faced, sometimes against the odds, usually under pressure. Like these guys, it takes a cool head to come out the winner when no one is bidding on you. But the underdog often finds strength in that situation. Maybe we'll be facing a situation like that shortly on Glasgow Green. We promised the battalion that we will make sure that their banner marches on for many years yet. To you from failing hands we throw the torch, be yours to hold it high. If you break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep. Though poppies grow in Flanders fields. Friends, this is their march, the March of the Cameron Men.